Welcome to Sports Video Group's Zoom Room chat here.
Thank you very much.
And today we're speaking with Martin Dyster, the Vice President for Business Development at the Telos Alliance. Martin, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Given the circumstances and the world situation, I feel very privileged to be home and healthy.
Right, exactly. Let's hope that for all of us here. Let's just jump right in. I know that there's a bunch of new features and functionality for the Telos Infinity IP Intercom.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through some of those, some of the key ones there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if we're coming up to what would have been NAB for most of us, I guess, and we had a whole slew of things that were due to come out that are still going to come out in April. So, first one from a hardware perspective, we were about to launch the Infinity BP4, which was the 4-channel version of the 2-channel wired belt pack that we already have. So this takes the format of the 2-channel party line belt pack and gives you 2 extra channels for any function, party line, group connectivity, peer-to-peer connectivity. And a cool feature that we added to it was the ability to program the 4th talk listen channel to be a reply to last caller, should you wish to use it that way. So you're never going to miss a call, and you can always reply direct to the incoming caller. On top of that, the majority of the new features are in software within the dashboard software product, and these include the launch of scenes, which is a snapshot tool, which allows you to take a snapshot of any configuration within dashboard, store it into the system to work offline, so you can make changes. So let's say, for argument's sake, you've got a configuration for your studio for your regular news show, and then maybe you do a sports magazine in the afternoon or something like that, which has fewer dial-ups, fewer party lines, whatever the differences are. You can configure different setups for everything that's within the network, whether it's your 4 wires, your panel configurations, and everything. So that's something that we've been working on for a while, and that was coming out in the release, or is actually in the release that's due out any day now. Customers keep asking us for functionality, and as you would expect, so we keep ticking off boxes as we go. ISO key mode is something that's in the latest release for primarily for camera operation, so you can have ISO keys to talk to camera operators when they would otherwise be communicated to and from via a group. Remote control of devices via a web browser, so directly within the configuration tool, you can see the live status of a panel or indeed a belt pack. Let's say, for argument's sake, this kind of thing happens. Operators might leave their panel muted, or might leave their mic open with a talk key pressed when they go off to lunch, and have somebody complain in another room that they're hearing this live microphone. You can browse to a panel and turn off a key remotely and do stuff like that. So
I would imagine that the enhanced remote control is probably a very useful feature in the current situation that we're in right now, which is pushing us further and further into REMI and at-home type productions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say that a lot of the calls and meetings that I've been on over the last 2 weeks have been figuring out how we can help broadcasters with that kind of thing. There's a lot of at-home broadcasting across the board, across the world, and actually that feature that we've got there in remote controlling devices gives you the ability to have that physical device or indeed a virtual device anywhere in the world, and to be able to take control of it as though it's right in front of you. So there's a lot of things happening in the Infinity world that spring out of off the back of this kind of development work, and certainly in the during the COVID pandemic, our R&D focus is needle sharp at the moment on stuff like that.
Well, this might be a good opportunity to ask you, what are your customers talking about? What are they asking about? What are the trends in the market that they're bringing up to you that you're reacting to?
Yeah, it's a variation on REMI, really. It's taking that REMI broadcast model where you would otherwise have a whole crew in a control room at a broadcast facility, making a production that's it's at the stadium or at the arena, and transferring that to production, a distributed production control room where the operators are actually in their homes, and obviously majority of what's going on now is news, or esports. Indeed, that's still going on, but the event itself might be your on-air talent talking to you from a venue somewhere, from a hospital or from a government building, or whatever the scenario is. So it's adapting that REMI model for this at-home production, where at home literally means at home, as opposed to literally at home. So these are the conversations that we're having every day, multiple times a day in some cases.
What's going to change for sports production, do you think, from the situation that we're coming out of? It's interesting that this is taking place at a time when the industry in general is moving deeper and deeper into an IP environment. And then you've got this incredibly disruptive, kind of like a double whammy when you think about it, because broadcast has been disrupted, and the content for the broadcast with sports, i.e. sports, itself has been disrupted. It's a tremendous disruption that we're experiencing right now at a time when the technology has been changing. When we come out of this on the other side, whenever that is, what do you imagine might be changed, from your perspective?
I think there'll be a realization that this whole at-home REMI production model is absolutely doable, and that anybody that's been nervous of it up until this point has been, I like to say, forced to adopt it. But we've all become used to it. I said that our R&D is accelerating rapidly in this area as a result of what's going on, and I don't think broadcasting is ever going to be quite the same again. I was at a not long ago, less than a month ago, I guess, I was in New York talking to one of the networks there, and the conversation that we had about what's happening now and how people are adapting was exactly saying that they didn't think that the broadcast world would ever be the same again in terms of our acceptance of at-home technology, of reporting, while doing what we're doing now, having an interview over Zoom, which is normal for us, but just looking at TV shows now, whether you're looking at one of the evening shows like Kimmel or Colbert or any of these things now that are coming out of the home, whether it's a news broadcast where the anchor is in their house, the technology is allowing us to do that, and I think when we come out of this, it's going to be ubiquitous.
But I miss production.
Yeah, well, it'll be a blend, won't it? The big marquee events that's not going to change. I think we all want to get back to going to sports. I know certainly I want to get back to going to soccer games.
Right.
I just want to have it on the TV. I don't want to watch the World Cup from 1978 reruns.
Especially since you know how it turns out.
Well, yeah, that was a bad year to pick as well for England.
Well, just to wrap up, are there any other major projects or announcements or messages that Telos Alliance would like to get out to its clients?
Yeah, we're very much open for business. I think that's important to say. We've been designated as being, what's the terminology that we used, or that's used by the government, the US government, I should say. We're a critical needs provider because we're supporting the radio and TV industry, and those are things that have to keep going for communication. So our support teams are ready and waiting 24/7 to help broadcasters with any of their remote production needs right now. Business as usual. Everybody's either working from home, or the skeleton staff that are still in any of the centres are still there and ready to help. So, business as usual at Telos.
That's a great point. You are essential, and just about everything in professional audio is essential for what we're doing right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Martin Dyster, Telos Alliance, thanks very much for taking the time today.
Thanks, Dan, and stay safe, everybody.